Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering February 14th to the 20th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these readings to be timeless, meaning anytime it shows up in your feed or is presented to you, that's when the messages are meant for you. So welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy day to celebrate all things love, whether you're in partnership or you're into a journey of wholeness on the single track. I send you all lots of love. So I wrote some things down. So if it sounds like I'm reading, it's because I am. This is a big week. So as you've been following my channel, and for those of you who are new subscribers, welcome. I want to reiterate, we are in a 9-year cycle of reintegrating the energy of true love back on the planet. And that 9-year cycle started in 2017, and it will go to 2025. So what I have seen, what I have noticed, what I've experienced, what I have felt up until this point, here we are in 2021. We have been, whether you're in partnership or, as I said, you are whether you're coupled up or whether you're single, both are equally valuable. We are all on a journey to wholeness, and that requires inner work. That has required up until this point for us to dive deep into the shadow, right? The depth, the ego self, to understand that part, your shadow sister and your shadow brother that's within you. It's been a time to face your fears, to really dig in and make change. And it's been powerful. Although it's also easy to get lost in the shadow maze of fear, confusion, addiction, self-sabotage, all those things. So, as I mentioned, we're on a journey to wholeness, meaning the balancing of our own inner masculine and inner feminine. And then what happens, sacred partnership is a byproduct of the union of the self. And so last year was the energy, we talked a lot about the divine feminine energy, awakening on the planet, intuition, insight, magnetism, inner wisdom, right? Earth angels. You were born with this capacity to fertilize and grow ancient wisdom. Listen, friends, you can buy knowledge. You can buy books. You can buy knowledge, but it is life experience, and it is a passion to share wisdom, to share the gifts, to share the insight, the wisdom of the ancients. It takes an awakened person. It takes somebody who's gone through the dark to share the journey, right? As I mention often, I'm a storyteller, nonfiction, of course, and I share wisdom based on experiences and patterns, and I see the world in a different perspective. Earth angels are just that, angels on this planet. And you have to remember that God always protects his earth angels because they have an innate wisdom within them that has been growing underground, that is now starting to pop up from the ground, right? So we're in this now 5 year of transformation. That means the shoots have popped out of the ground And now your plant, let's say, or your flower, your gift to the world is now transforming, and you're starting to get to see what it's going to be, right? So when you have wildflowers out in a field, it's not until they start to take form that you start to see what their unique color or character or look is going to be like. And that's the space we're in now, right? So if you're looking outside of yourself, I know Valentine's Day can be touchy for some, right? When, you think about past love or things that worked or things that didn't work, or things maybe not where you want them to be right now. And, again, that's all still, ego stuff that's surfacing. Now would be the time to reflect upon all things love, especially with the divine. So the card reading that I plan to share with you today is a love letter from the divine, a love letter from Father and Mother Love. And so to support you in this journey, to activate that love vibration within you, no matter where you're at. Because when we feel it in our physical body, that's when it radiates out to the planet, and the planet needs that vibration. So before I go on to that, I want to share that we have on February 17th this week, we have a Saturn square Uranus. Planetary alignment. The last time this happened was 2000. So this isn't something that happens regularly, and it can be tough, right? So if there's anything in the shadow that you've been avoiding or you've been suppressing or you're not even aware of, this alignment can activate that. So I want to kind of reiterate how important love is, how important trust and faith in the divine is. No matter what we see with our physical eyes, we have to remember what we see and what God sees are very often, very different perspectives. And so it's the Earth Angel's love and devotion to the divine, to the heart of the mother, to the heart of the father, to their commitment to integrate love on the planet, is what teaches others how to move through hard times with faith. So Saturn is the planet that likes to keep things as it is. Don't want to change. It can be kind of like the stubborn rock sometimes. Uranus, what they call, is like the planet, it's the wild card, right? Uranus is the great awakener, the planet of surprise. It can create upheaval and change. And so I want to plant seeds because I don't know what's going to happen this week. But I want to plant the seeds that no matter what surfaces, reminding yourself that it's a gift of experience that will activate deeper wisdom within you. And it will require patience, and it will require time. I listened to this pastor. And if you are challenged in relationships, I do want to also share this. If you're challenged in relationships, if you've reflected on your past, or you're reflecting on your past now and you're looking back and you're seeing a pattern with maybe lovers in your life, or romantic relationships, intimate relationships that you've had in the past, and you're looking back, and you want to learn from cycles, patterns, rhythms, I cannot suggest enough about getting support. So 3 people that have helped me tremendously. And so this is for some of you who may be struggling, who may be feeling lost in the dark, right? Maybe lost in the shadow labyrinth, and you're feeling like confused, or the self-esteem or the lack of confidence in relationships and growing is surfacing within you. Pastor R.C. Blakes and his wife Lisa have been phenomenal with queenology and kingology, and teaching people about the dynamics through Christ, through Christianity, through the Bible, of sacred union, sacred partnership. So he has so many videos that it's really helped me blossom in so many ways. So if you're struggling in that department, Pastor R.C. Blakes, and his wife Lisa have been phenomenal. Allison Armstrong, if you're in partnership and you're a masculine or a feminine and you're struggling with your partner, there's no denying men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? Speaking totally different languages. Allison Armstrong helps masculine and feminine energies understand each other and brings to light the perspectives of the wounded masculine and definitely the wounded feminine. And remember, we all have these vibrations within us. So if you're single and you're on this journey to wholeness and you're trying to understand your own inner masculine and inner feminine, these people can also be beneficial with that. And then the third person that I highly recommend that has been phenomenal in this journey of understanding and education is David Data. He's got a book called The Way of the Superior Man, and another phenomenal book, which is Intimate Communion, which talks about this 9-year cycle and where sacred union and sacred partnership is going. And I hope more people read, the books like that. Intimate Communion talks about just that, the phases and the dynamics of there was dependent relationships, then there is interdependent, meaning 50-50. And now we're moving into a vibration of intimate communion. In order to really access that power, you have to understand your own inner masculine and inner feminine. I know this intro is kind of long, but this is really important information. It's something that I've been working on for the last couple of years. And as we move through 21 into 22, we're going to really start moving fast and seeing power couples coming together, divine power couples coming together. And I can't stress enough how important your relationship is with the divine, how important your relationship was with the power of the father and the power of the mother, and to really understand how to utilize these energies. You might be gravitated more to one than the other. Every single human on this earth has a different pathway to it. But earth angels are being squeezed right now. You're being asked to drop the baggage that you know and the baggage that you don't know. I'm right there with you. I had a very difficult week last week. And it's all good, and it's been incredible through sadness, through fear, and through the ego, how the power of the divine transforms that energy. And now I have this activated passion within me that I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for that experience. And as I've mentioned in other readings, my word for this year is passion. And so I understood the dissatisfaction and the fear and the ego, and then giving everything time and patience, right? So I always say, if you're going through a difficult time, if you get surprised by something, or you feel like, something like just knocks you off your feet and life hits you hard and feels like a punch in the stomach, I suggest, before you react, before you try to fix something, give it 3 days. That's something that I've been really learning to practice. Pastor R.C. Blakes talks about it and how Christ died on the cross, and 3 days later he was resurrected. And he talks about how giving things space and time leaves room for the divine. So we're learning patience. We're learning about this wisdom within that you can't obtain outside of you. Right? It all comes from within you. And this is why the divine feminine is so important, for you to understand what that inner wisdom is like. And I talk about this, where masculine, your intuition, comes from your gut. It comes from your mind. It's this deep knowing. feminine energies out there, your intuition is in your heart. It's in your feeling body. And it's like a muscle for both that needs to be developed through experiences. All right, I know that was a long intro. It was important, and we'll see how they the father love and mother love unpack that for me. So I'm going to be starting with this beautiful book, this card deck, Mother Mary Oracle. This is a new deck for me, and I was inspired to use it, so I probably will have to use the book for the explanation of the cards. And then, of course, I'm going to use for Father Love, the Love and Light Oracle deck. And then what you're being gifted with through sacred geometry relationships. Is that what I want? No. Yes. What you're being gifted with through the experiences you're going through. And then I'm going to use the Divine Abundance cards. And I will finish with a Whispers of Love card. All right. So let me start here. Let me open up a space, inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. So one of the things I want to reiterate is when I talk about the divine mother and father, father love, mother love, God, goddess, Shiva Shakti, when I talk about these energies, I just really want to show how important it is that they're not separate. And so many times I've heard it through my teachers, and I feel it in my bones that they are a partnership that makes up a whole. So there is no one's better than the other. Each has unique qualities that can empower each other and expand on each other to wholeness. So think about the yin yang, right? The yin yang wouldn't be without, the black or the white. And within the white, there's the black, and within the black, there's the white. And so if you can think about father and mother love that I'm talking about, like the imagery of the yin yang, they're each in of itself, and together they make a whole. This is what we're talking about, wholeness within, and then sacred partnership, sacred union is a byproduct of that. And like I said, if you're already in a marriage or you're already in a partnership, this work will actually explode your intimacy, your connection, your power within your marriage or within your partnership. All right. But it's kind of one of those things that you need to experience and to know the depth of it. All right. Mother love, we're going to start with you. What is the most important message? Has a love letter to the Earth Angels this week. What's the most important message? Of course, these cards are new, so I'm a little fumbly with them. So we're going to go with this. All right, let's begin. Oh, so perfect. Sacred union, sacred partnership, right? We have two energies. We have the heart in the middle, and we have Our Lady of Comfort. And the card is number 7. 7 is inner work. 7 is, I connect 7 with the divine feminine energy. It's about knowledge. It's about wisdom and insight, right? It's those seeds that have been planted within. It's shadow work and understanding our ego and being able to face it and acknowledge it. I love that. It's the fire and water here. It's the typical masculine feminine union. Let's see here. Let me get the book. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. I love that came up. I mean, you really can't write a better script. Here we go. So the message. Perfect. Even though you may not see me, I am holding your hand. This is mother love. Even though you may not hear me, I'm speaking through your heart. I am never far away from you. I am by your side with love, guidance, and protection, always. You are my own. I could not bear to be apart from you. Receive my message of comfort and peace now. So Our Lady of Comfort brings you angels of peace. She is at your side. If you have wondered if the divine is more real than you ever believed, if you have ever been in conscious divine connection, the oracle of Our Lady of Comfort confirms this. If you've been having the opposite experience, perhaps finding it difficult to feel lightness, joy, or happiness for some time, or finding it so hard to meditate or connect with yourself or your spiritual center, Our Lady is telling you she is still with you, and this time too shall pass. So, I feel like she's reminding you, maybe some of you are feeling alone, separate, isolated. We can be certainly surrounded by hundreds of people and still feel alone, still feel misunderstood. And so I feel like the mother love is reminding you that separation is an illusion. Aloneness is an illusion. And some of you, if you're a visual person, to this day or this week when things get challenging, if they do, or maybe you're watching somebody go through a difficult time, be there for them of comfort. And there's a depiction of this here is to bring somebody comfort is to be present with them, to be compassionate and understanding, not to fix something, solve a problem, come up with a conclusion. Some of the most gratifying, beautiful experiences I've had is just knowing somebody is there, just having somebody to listen and to say, I understand, or I don't know what you need. I don't know how to tell you to move through this, but I'm here for you. And so this might be flipped. You may need this. So if you are in partnership and maybe your partner is going through a difficult time, sometimes a hug, sometimes, especially with the masculine energy being the stability, sometimes being the strong presence of I've got you no matter what can be powerful. If it is the feminine who's masculine is having a difficult time, prayer, right? Calling on the divine, asking for that person to be surrounded and protected in God's love and light, right? Praying for their faith to be strengthened can also be beneficial. And this can also be something within you as well. So mother love is reminding you that you're never alone. All right, let's see here. Father love, where are you? What is the most important message you need to hear, see, feel, and know this week from Father love? Let's see. Gentleness is the path of peace. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. Lack, separation, void, missing something is an illusion. Now, I can certainly personally understand how that can be a tough thing to move through sometimes, to understand, to process. So God is reminding you this week, again, instead of muscling our way through things, taking on more action to escape into. Addiction or addictive tendencies or behaviors can be activated in this time. Obsessiveness, right? Escapism, procrastination. There are definitely tendencies of mine that I'm strengthening and learning to work through. And so when I was activated last week, I was like, okay, here it is. I've been learning all these things, having all these experiences, and now is time to put that knowledge and that wisdom to work. That the tools that I've learned, it's now time to pick up the tools and use them. And so, and then I got a confirmation, as I have this Jesus app that sends me a message every couple hours, and it said, Jesus said, let's ask the Holy Spirit for guidance on this situation. And I was like, brilliant. And I was just, again, comforted by the fact that I wasn't alone, that Spirit was already with me. And I needed to move through it with gentleness and cry it out and process and connect with my shadow sister within and talk to her and listen to her and face my fears, face my ego, right? Face the pain that I had been avoiding. And really the only way to do that was to lie down. And, I had a couple sleepless nights where I felt the pain in my back, tossing and turning. And I just allowed the experience. This is where the divine feminine, this is where you get down into your physical body. This is where you anger manifestation. This is where you elevate your vibration through your feeling body. I promise you, you will not break. But I also know it is painful. But your pain is your power. This is how you know you're birthing something, right? When a feminine energy gives birth, a physical labor, it's an incredible, immense amount of pain. And through that comes the birthing of a miracle, a blessing. So if you're in this discomfort, if you're in this pain, whether you're a masculine or a feminine, or you're ready to give up, right? Know that the pain and facing it, meaning sitting with it, understanding it, feeling it out, asking it what its wisdom is. Again, you need to give it some space and time. You might not know right away. I actually just got a hit this morning that I was like, oh my God, I never saw it that way. And so when you ask, God, show me truth. When you ask, give me the wisdom of this, you're going to get the truth. God reminds us that nothing is as it seems. God reminds us that what he sees and what we see are two very different things. And ask yourself, is your discomfort coming from limitation, lack, fear, jealousy, envy, right? That's all stuff to look at. Not stuff to be shamed about, not stuff to be sad about. I mean, I certainly go to those places. And this is why I share these things about me, because I think it can be really easy to think that I got it all together or that I get all of this, because I don't. I'm just as human. And I think this is why God is using me for a channel like this, because I heard somebody say recently, I don't look like what I've been through. And that struck me. It hit me like Cupid's arrow in the heart, because I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of darkness. And, but I've also transformed it. I've also become empowered by it. It makes me a blessing, a gift of who I am, right? But we can't necessarily look at somebody and know the picture or feel like we know about them, because many people in this world do not look like what they've been through. And this is what earth angels are uncovering, right? Your power from your pain. And it usually comes from that one yearn or desire for something, right? So I think a few months ago on one of these readings, I had talked about how I am in a place in my life where I want for nothing. There's this satisfaction. But I was saying it did not come from a place of complacency. It didn't come from a place of just going through the motions. There was a wholeness. There's a wholeness within me, a completion, a solidness within me. And from there, everything that manifests from that energy is a byproduct of the wholeness and the completion that I felt within myself, the empowerment, right? And, we go through waves. In that moment, at that time, I was really in that space. Last week, that was tested. Incredibly, And I had to, because I knew what it felt like, I knew I had to get back to that space and I had to move through the process. So enjoying the space that you're in, if you're in a really good space and doing really well, share that energy from overflow. If you're having a hard time or you're struggling, lean on your support system, especially father and mother love, and be gentle on yourself, right? Gentle love is the path to peace. All right, let's go on here. I don't know, I feel like this is going to be a long one already. Okay, let's see. What are you being gifted with? What does father and mother love want you to know that you're being gifted with by the experiences you're having in connection to this journey to wholeness and completion, pain into power, the union of the sacred masculine, sacred feminine energies? It's the most important thing you need to know. I think I showed you. These are relationship sacred activation cards. I have a different deck that looks like this, but these are the relationship ones. And of course, I'll put all the links in the description box below if you're interested in these decks. All right. Father, mother love. What is the most important lesson or what's being gifted through these experiences? They're all new cards. Here we go. So of course there's two. All right, so we have 6th chakra. It's the energy of the third eye chakra, supports our inner sight and intuitive abilities. So 6. The number 6 is ruled by Venus, of course. The love, God is the love planet, right? The goddess of love with Aphrodite and Guinevere and, of course, my favorite goddesses. So the 6 is about creativity. It is about home. It is about family. It's about growth in that energy. And so this also speaks to what I was talking about earlier in if you're looking at a situation and the green monster is being activated, of course, jealousy and envy, and it's not fair, just being able to identify with the humanness of that and how important it is to acknowledge that's a part of you to learn from and not suppress it, not to be shamed by it, and understand that, again, what God sees and what you see is very different. And so you may be looking at things in the world, you may be looking at experiences that are coming up in a judgmental way. You're seeing it from your perspective. You could be romanticizing a situation. You could be making something grander, like dreaming about something that's wonderful and not necessarily there's creating attachments to it. You know, maybe if you are dreaming or having experiences about like a person or something that you desire, and you're seeing it in the world, it can definitely activate that insecurity or that low self-esteem within you. And so you're going to need that spiritual sight, right? You're going to need that wisdom that comes from with you that God had already gifted to you when you were born on this planet. So information and the way it is being shared in the world is changing. I've been talking a lot about how there's a lot of, I just kind of see it as like a cesspool of information, outdated information, old information, stuff that worked at a point in time. And so Earth Angels are the originals. Earth Angels are the enigmas. Earth Angels are the seers, the seekers, the lovers, the problem solvers of the spirit of the divine. And so because the dark force, because of the evil consciousness of the world, it knows that it's going to fight like heck to pull you down. It's going to fight like heck, right? It's going to bring in people, places, things, and ideas in your life that are going to activate those insecurities. And so I feel like this message of love is saying, the Lord is my shepherd. Remember, the divine speaks to you. The heart of God, the heart of the mother speaks to you through your sixth chakra. Right? Through imagery, through thoughts, through ideas that seem like it comes from a well. It comes from like a depth within you. And I can tell you, Mother Love is working with you as she sends the birds, as she sends Mother Nature to you, as she sends you the numbers of the world. I was sharing, I had a difficult experience last week that just really knocked me off my feet. And the next morning, upon, like the day after, 2 crows were in the gigantic pine trees that are in my backyard. And I was just looking up at them. And that's I work a lot personally with the Native American energies and the vibration. And I was looking up and I'm like, I know. Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the shadow work. And just as I was thinking, so it's said to see that crows remember faces. Crows remember people and vibrations, and they make a connection with you, and they're powerful. This is the divine Mother Love working through her creatures, her 4-leggeds on the planet, to gift you with wisdom and insight, right? Just as I was thanking the crow for its medicine, I believe it was the male. It was what I energetically felt. Flew right over my head, right onto the roof of my house. And I was just like captivated in awe. And I sat there for a moment and I'm like, life is magnificent. I was feeling a lot of sadness. I was feeling a lot of pain. I was feeling a lot of despair. And in that moment, something broke in me that just said, life is magnificent. Life is powerful. And so this is what we start seeing when we activate the 6th chakra. All right. Honesty. Of course, number 5, right? 5 is about this year, transformation. It's about change. It's about seeing things in a different way. It's about action, right? Taking action to like change patterns in our lives that aren't working anymore. So this card says, it says, the energy of honesty supports our choice to be courageously truthful and genuine with kindness and tact, right? So honesty with the self is really important. Being honest about being confused, sad, frustrated, aggravated. Being honest with others. Vulnerability. Right? That's really what makes the feminine so beautiful, is her ability to be vulnerable. And to love very deep capacities through pain. So what do you have to get honest about this week? Right? What maybe have you been denying? Or what have you been looking at that maybe needs to change? And all you have to do is be willing and open for Father and Mother Love to assist you, to support you, for things to dramatically change in your life. But here's the thing, friends, when you ask, you shall receive. So there is a part of you that knows when you ask, when you feel it in your bones and you ask, it will happen. And it will require change. It will require something of you, right? And, we like our comfort zones, right? And I feel like in the next few months, we're still in hibernation energy, right? Here in the northern hemisphere, winter, the energy of winter, right, is circulating our hemisphere now. And we're in this space of winter hibernation. It's a time to learn, right? It's a time to tap into that wisdom and insight. And I feel like those things that you have been denying, the attachments, the codependency, like I said, the addictions, they're all great teachers. That is going to come to surface, and it's now time to be honest, right? The energy of honesty supports our choice to be courageously truthful and genuine with kindness and tact. Being honest with somebody doesn't mean being mean to them or picking on them or bullying them, including yourself, right? Being honest is like, I surrender this to you, divine. I surrender this. I get it. And I honestly admit I don't know what I'm doing. I honestly admit I don't know how to move through this. I honestly admit I'm losing it here. And you'll be amazed at how the universe sends support to his earth angels, to her earth angels of this planet. All right, let's see what's next. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what are you learning? What are you learning right now? So this is the gift. This is kind of like the action, what we got to focus on. You're being gifted with. When you get a gift, you need to do something with it, right? When you're gifted with a gift card, you've got to spend it somewhere. When you're gifted with a toy, you've got to put it together and use it. When you're gifted with insight in some way, you got to do something with it. So this is what's the lesson? Like, what's being learned with these actions? Is that even a word? What are we learning? Sorry. What are we learning as we move through this space? Let's see. I do have a plan before I start these, but then I get into these messages and I'm like, what feels better? What feels right? I really got to stop with the plan because it just makes me confused. Whoa. All right. So there's 3 here that I'm going to take. Looks like we're learning a lot. All right. Oh, no, there's only 2. I thought there was 3. I think there was 3. Anyway. Sacrifice. Oh, divine feminine, right? Sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. Friends, I'm telling you, I couldn't write a better script. It is amazing how these unfold. And of course we have Ganesha here, right? The remover of obstacles. We've got the depiction of a divine masculine here, sacred masculine, taking and throwing and breaking. So this is, it looks like a ceremony. So I had, when I was in Texas, when I had spent some time in Austin, I had gone to a puja, and there was a fire. And there were mantras that were said, and the sacrifice was a coconut. And what we had to do was we had to go put an intention or something to be released in this coconut. And then we had to go to a rock and we had to break the coconut. And as I'm holding this coconut, all I could think about is, oh my God, what if I don't have the strength to break this coconut? This coconut is really hard. And these people who are hitting these coconuts on this rock, they're having to do it really hard. And I didn't have confidence in my strength to break this coconut. And I could see how the fire puja and the energy was building up because I had a different intention. And as I went up to, it was my turn to like break this coconut, I mustered up this strength. And I remembered the power of God is my strength. My addictions, right? My obsessions were my lack of confidence in myself. And I realized that I don't really need confidence in myself. The confidence in Creator, the confidence in the divine is my power. And I'll tell you, friends, I walked up to that rock. I banged that coconut as hard as I could and cracked right open. It cracked in a weird way, but nonetheless, it cracked. And I swear it was after that experience that I was like busted open in different kinds of love and appreciation. So your willingness to go through the darkness, right? Where's the 7 here, right? 7 and 5s. Your willingness to go through the darkness, your willingness to face your pain, to face your shadow, and release it, right, is the sacrifice to experience love on deeper levels. And really, what else, there are some things that you may have to release and surrender in order to achieve love on a deeper level, right? There are some things that we might be holding on to so near and dear that we're believing this is the only way. This is the only pathway. I want it to be this way. But it makes us, I think the word is hysterical blindness, right? When we're on a single focused mind, one track mind, it basically makes you blind to the 500 other ways we can have the experience. My whole life has been like that. For a very long time, I so desired to be normal. Nothing in my life, nothing that I've experienced has ever been normal. And I really had to face that over the last couple of years. Like, why do I keep trying to be quote unquote normal when that's not even me, right? So Earth Angels have come to this planet to be different. That's your gift to the planet, to be the change, right? To be it, not tell people what to do, but to be it yourself. And that requires a level of sacrifice. And sacrifice really comes from what the ego wants, right? The way the ego wants it to be. And everything in my life that has been incredibly, everything that I've experienced in my life that has moved mountains, has come when I least expected it. It was everything I didn't know I needed. And that's the glory of God. God has so much bigger things for you than the ego even knows. And so breaking down that ego part, the fear, the separation, the illusion, the addictions, making the changes, it's painful, friends. I'll tell you. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It hurts. It hurts your physical body. It hurts, but pain is also power. And once you move through that, you find this innate courage within you to overcome anything. And it is powerful. So the other card, clearing. Yep. This is what we're doing. These are the lessons. This is what we're learning. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. I've always said to my clients and myself, God doesn't take anything away unless he replaces it with something even better. Now, that's not a judgment saying that what went out is bad and what comes in is good. It's just a different vibrational match that's more in alignment to the essence of who you truly are. It says you start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's. Such freedom. So this is where we're getting to. And of course, we're in, the age of Aquarius, that December 20th star that was activated, the way the planets aligned, right? It's Aquarius energy. Aquarius is freedom. We have 6 planets, I believe, and Pallas Athena, an asteroid, is also in Aquarius. Aquarius is the age of freedom. And in order to have freedom, we must simplify our lives. Bigger isn't better, friends. Not anymore. It becomes a weight. It becomes a drain. It becomes having to sacrifice your time and energy to feed a beast. And this is the year to change that. This is a year to complete and finish and clear out and accept. Okay, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I jumped into things. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I don't understand this. But when we can surrender it, right? When we can release what we think we want and ask God to support us, it becomes then an activation of service. How can I activate and be of service to others? Not to get something, not to build something, not to grow something, but to be of service. That is the true calling of the divine, right? What's the saying? Many are called, few are chosen. Few are chosen. Because even though you're called, you have to show up in the right attire. You have to show up in your nakedness, in your vulnerability, being ready to receive and take action on the guidance that you get, right? Through the 6th chakra. And it's okay to admit that you might be afraid. You might not be sure, and this is what we're all working on. Clearing insecurities, lack of confidence, fear. We're clearing out paradigms of age, right? Discrimination, cultural beliefs, separation. Remember, evil consciousness wouldn't be working so hard to take down truth if it didn't know it was powerful, right? These are the paradigms that are playing out. We have this powerful energy that's coming up, and we have an evil consciousness in the world that is fighting like heck to keep things as they are, right? But then when there's this change going on, now I have to say this doesn't relate to, this is a message of expansiveness of the entire planet. It's not political. It's not directed at any specific thing. So there's no miscommunication, right? With Mercury retrograde, this message, that guidance isn't directed at one specific thing. It's the earth and humanity as a whole. So please understand that. I'm not taking any sides. I'm not, directing it at any specific energy, because those paradigms are playing out within people individually and the planet as a whole. And remember, we're going back to a journey of wholeness, oneness, love, right? What we see in the external is a direct reflection of what's inside of us as well. All parts. So, clearing and sacrifice. I love it. Let's finish up this reading here, friends, with an overall message of love. What, Divine Mother, Divine Father, what message of love do you have for the Earth Angels on this very special Valentine's Day? What do you need them to know? Speak to their hearts. Consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are to love. Wow. I'm just taking in the imagery of the cards. I'm just seeing all the things, right? The animals, the fairies, the couple, the home, the owls, right? That's the shadow, the number 55, transformation and change. So if there's something that you're desiring, if there's something that you're wishing to create, manifest, consider your foundation. Meaning, is it based on outdated beliefs, old energy, ego? Could be a partnership. Listen, friends. Partnership, romantic love, intimacy. Oh, it's a roller coaster. You got to be committed. It's nice to dream about a house, getaways, intimacy and connecting. It's nice to indulge in that, in reality and in your mind. But you also have to remember there's so many different facets to partnership, to sacred love, to union. And you've got to be committed to all facets of it. Unfortunately, many people quit as the going gets rough, right? Sometimes we force things, sometimes we jump into things, sometimes we're not ready for things, sometimes the timing isn't right. We have to not be willing to give up on love, whatever that means to you. I keep seeing love, so I keep seeing the imagery here. There's stained glass. If you think about stained glass in like churches and old houses, it's different colors. And they're like more chunky and flat. So a lot of times we can look at love like that, but the divine is showing me real love is like a kaleidoscope. Remember those things? I could be aging myself here. I think it was the 80s, where there was these kaleidoscopes, and it was like kind of like a telescope looking thing, but you looked through it, and as you turned it, the colors would change and they would meld together and they would be three-dimensional and they'd be multifaceted. And each time you turned it, it would change. This is the vibration of love that we're going into. And if we're not really prepared for it in the solid foundation, it can be overwhelming, it can be nauseating, it can be an emotional roller coaster, right? This is why the divine is working so powerfully on wholeness and like each person getting to know themselves to be able to communicate in a healthier way, because this vibration of love is going to be multifaceted. We're stepping out of like the flat stained glass, although beautiful, but sacred union is stepping into the kaleidoscope of the energy, and we have to be willing and able and open to the change and the diversity and the breakdown of how we think it should be, and allow, again, clearing and sacrifice and sixth chakra and honesty and comfort and God and all these things into our lives. Like, this is our foundation that brings us to the kaleidoscope of love, which earth angels are powerfully manifesting and creating. This could be maybe you're calling in a family. Maybe it's, growing your family. Maybe it is partnership in a healthy way. Maybe it is like love into your career or your calling, your purpose. There's so many aspects of this. But no longer can we, once you see the kaleidoscope, no longer can we go back to the flat stained glass. Again, although beautiful, you're now opening up to different, deeper levels. And so your foundation is changing, right? Your core beliefs. And it always comes back to the wholeness of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. Well then, I said a lot of things. This is definitely a message I'm going to go back and listen to. I do that sometimes when I'm struggling. I go back and listen to my own message. I'm like, damn, that was good. Man, that was just what I needed. So understand that. I'm right there with you. Remember that you are loved by Creator. The divine is comforting you. And I believe in you. I believe in you so strongly. I believe in your power. I believe in your wisdom. And the world needs your love. All right, friends, let me close space. Thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the Divine Mother and Father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best. I'm going to ask that the messages continue to heal in mind, body, spirit, and emotions in all ways. All right, friends. One other thing that I wanted to note is that, I don't know if you noticed this, but in the beginning, the flames, there were two flames here. And as I was setting it up, I was like, there's no coincidence that there's a flame and then there's a reflection of a flame. And it kind of reminded me of Creator. Like, here we are with this flame. And then we have this powerful flame behind us that lights our way. But it also represents sacred union and partnership and connection as well. So if you're seeing twos, right? If you're seeing twos are about balance. It's about partnership. It's about, again, sacred union. It's about having faith, right? Having faith to know that everything's going to be okay. Because usually when we see the twos, it comes from a time where we're in fear or doubt or confusion. And sometimes we just have to face it and saying, hey, I didn't know then what I know now, and from here I can move forward, I can accept, right? Knowing that you're never alone. There's always the power of love and light that has your back. All right, friends, if you are challenged and you do need support in any way, I do have links to my online scheduling booking if you need support, if you need something in some way. I'm praying for you. I pray that you learned something. I pray that this message lit you up in some way. I pray that this is a gift to you in some way. If you know somebody who could benefit, please share. I am going to be adding readings to this channel. So if If you're interested in more of that, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Then you'll always be reminded and notified when I post something new. And of course, like my video if you liked it. Leave a comment, or if there's anything else you want to add in or share, please feel free. And I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.